Today, we'll be taking a deeper look at the story of the Magi, also known as the wise men, who visited Jesus sometime after his birth. We'll explore their identity, the timing of their visit, and their significant role in the Nativity story. We'll also discuss the importance of the shepherds being the first to greet the newborn Jesus. The Magi were likely Persian priest-sages and astrologers. The word Magi comes from the Greek word magos, meaning a wise man or priest. In those days, astronomy and astrology were closely linked, and the Magi studied the stars and planets to derive meaning from what they saw in the night skies. Some traditions name the Magi Gaspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, but these names developed centuries later. The Bible never provides their names or the exact number of Magi who journeyed to see Jesus. People often assume there were three because of the three gifts mentioned: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. However, the Bible doesn't specify the number. There could have been 2, 3, 12, or more traveling together. Many people believe that the Magi visited Jesus on the night of his birth, but biblical clues suggest otherwise. Matthew 2:11 states that the Magi visited Jesus in a house, not at the manger or stable. Additionally, King Herod ordered the killing of all male children 2 years old and younger in Bethlehem based on when the Magi first saw the star, indicating that Jesus could have been a toddler when the wise men arrived. Furthermore, Luke's Gospel tells us that Mary's purification time was complete. 40 days after birth, Joseph and Mary took Jesus to the temple in Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. After this, they returned to Nazareth, with no mention of a trip to Egypt to escape Herod's wrath, which happens after the Magi's visit. The most likely timeline is: Jesus is born in Bethlehem, the shepherds visit that night, not the Magi, Jesus is presented at the temple on his 40th day, the family returns to Bethlehem and establishes a home there for a period. Magi visit a year or two later, prompting the family to flee to Egypt.
Although the Magi were not present at Jesus' birth, their visit holds great significance in the Nativity story. Their journey demonstrates that Jesus' coming was a cosmic event marked by signs in the heavens. The fact that Gentile wise men from distant lands came to worship the King of the Jews shows that Jesus' significance extended beyond the Jewish people. The gifts they brought were also highly symbolic. Gold, a precious metal befitting a king, represented Jesus' kingship. Frankincense, an expensive perfume, signified his deity or godliness. Myrrh, a spice used for embalming, foreshadowed his death and burial. These gifts, given at the start of his life, encapsulate Jesus' identity and purpose. The Magi's visit also had political ramifications. King Herod, feeling threatened by this new King of the Jews, sought to eliminate the child. The Magi, being warned in a dream, did not return to Herod, and Joseph was instructed to take Mary and Jesus to Egypt to escape Herod's wrath. This shows that even as a child, Jesus was seen as a threat to earthly powers. The Magi's journey of faith is also significant. They followed a star, trusting that it would lead them to the Messiah. They undertook a long, dangerous journey to worship this king, and when they found him, they responded with joy, worship, and generous gifts. This is a model of faith and worship for all who seek Christ.
While the Magi's visit is significant, it's important to note that the shepherds were the first to hear of Jesus' birth and visit him. When angels appeared to announce the Messiah's birth, these humble shepherds rushed to the manger and became the first to greet and worship the newborn king. This is significant for several reasons. First, it shows that the news of Christ's birth was not first sent to the rich, powerful, or educated, but to lowly shepherds. This underscores the theme that runs throughout Jesus' life and teaching. He came for all people, regardless of status. In that culture, shepherds were often looked down upon. They were considered unclean because their work prevented them from participating in many religious observances. Yet God chose to announce this most sacred birth to them, signifying that in Christ all are welcome and valued. Furthermore, the fact that shepherds were the first to hear and respond to the news of Jesus' birth is symbolic. In the Old Testament, God is often portrayed as a shepherd, and Israel as his flock. In the New Testament, Jesus calls himself the Good Shepherd. The shepherds visiting the infant Jesus foreshadows his own role as the ultimate shepherd of God's people. In summary, the Magi, likely Persian wise men, played a significant role in the Nativity story, even though they did not visit Jesus on the night of his birth. Their journey shows that Jesus' birth was a cosmic event, that he came for all people, and that his identity and purpose were foreshadowed by the gifts they brought. However, the shepherds' visit on the night of Jesus' birth is equally important. It demonstrates that God announced this pivotal event first to the lowly and marginalized, underscoring the central message of Jesus' life. He came for all, regardless of status or background. As we reflect on the Nativity story, let us remember the faith of the Magi, who journeyed far to worship the newborn King. But let us also remember the shepherds, who model for us the response of all who hear the good news, to come to Christ just as we are, in humble adoration and joy.